I put a bunch of free resources on my Gumroad page available at this URL. You can download any of these for free, you just have to provide your email, which I might use to reach out if I'm ever building something that I want to sell transparently, and that's how you should use these lead magnets on Gumroad. So today I'm going to go over how to build anything with AI. The goal is just to help you pick the right architecture whenever you think of something that can be automated. For example, when do you build an entire app versus when does just a chatbot in your browser work? So this is a cheat sheet that runs from the most hands-off to the most hands-on. You run everything yourself. So my philosophy is I like to prioritize the hands-off things. Here are the sections for our document. First one is how to choose in 60 seconds. Take a second and pick one task that you do repeatedly. It could be at work, it could be at home, etc. Some knowledge work using software is preferable. So ask these 5 questions about whatever you want to build. Does it come out the same way every single time you run it? Does it run once or over and over on a schedule? Is it just for you, or do other people need to use it? Does it need a screen people click through, or can it quietly run in the background? Does it need to remember things between runs, or does each run start fresh? All we're doing is simplifying software architecture concepts here so that you match your situation to an architecture. If you just need a thing made once, a document, image, research, summary, analysis, script, all you need to do is use a chatbot in your browser. Go to chatgpt.com or claude.ai. Bob's your uncle. If you want to use your own files or connect your AI to your Gmail, Drive, Notion, or GitHub, you can turn on a connector in your settings. So in Claude, you would go to this Customize tab, go to Connectors, and here you can see the different platform connect with. You can browse and add custom connectors. And before we go further, this is super powerful, and a lot of people still think they need to build something to connect AI to their tools. No, it's all built in now to just a chatbot in your browser. Anyway, I want to build or change real files and systems with AI doing the work while I steer. That would be Claude Code. So yes, this can work with different cloud services, but it can't work with files on my computer, for example, that we see in the File Explorer. So in that case, we need to use Claude Code, which I absolutely love. I have a ton of videos about how to get started with Claude Code on the channel. What if you want an agentic job to run on a schedule without you sitting there? Well, you can use a routine in Claude Code. You can use this /schedule command. What about if you have a recurring job whose steps never change? Well, you might not need AI for that at all. You might just need a plain Python script, but you're obviously not going to do that yourself. You can have an AI chatbot write the Python script for you and teach you how to run it. What if you want a repeatable multi-app automation? Well, you can use N8N, Make.com, Zapier, or any other low-code automation platform. So this would be when you want to connect different applications, have them talk to each other when they usually don't talk to each other well, like this, right? These low-code platforms, they're just drag and drop, and they have a lot of pre-built nodes for common apps. So you don't have to write any code or anything like that to connect these apps to accomplish these repeated work patterns. Okay, what if you're in a normal browser chatbot session and you keep finding yourself repeating the same rules and context to the AI? Well, that's when you would reach for something like a project where you can make custom instructions for it right here, or you can tell it to make a skill. All a skill is a prompt that you don't need to type in again. So if Claude senses you might want to reuse all the information in this prompt, it'll just use that skill and you don't have to type everything every single time. Let's say you want to hand a big task to a focused helper. You could use a subagent in Claude. All you need to do in Claude Code rather. All you need to do is tell Claude Code to spin up subagents in plain text. It says I'll spawn 5 parallel agents, and you can see each call with the agent prefix there is indeed spawning an agent. So that's super important if you have a big repository with a lot of files here and you don't want to pollute the main session's context, which is this main chat here, with all of the different info. So the agents will go out, pollute their own context by reading the entire files and of every folder I have here, but they'll come back and give our main session here the summary of what they learned, keeping the main session's context very lean. So without our main session reading every single file and polluting its context with all the unnecessary info, the agents came back with their summaries and just the main session is now regurgitating that. Now, what if you want to send people a link to a product they can use? Well, you might consider hosting something on Vercel. So Vercel is where I host a front end for my apps. Here's another one that's also hosted on Vercel. It just lets you deploy a web page like this very quickly. If you don't want a front end, but you want a command or tool tool that another instance of Claude Code can run, you might build a CLI tool. If you want to run something on your machine, again, a simple script is probably fine. I forgot to mention that this one, the top one, was just a script on a task scheduler, so that will run on a script. But this is just saying, hey, it's the script that I'll run manually. And if it has to stay on 24/7 and I'll maintain it forever, then you can do a virtual private server in the cloud. So here's the cheat sheet for an order from most hands off at the top to most hands on at the bottom. I'd recommend starting at the top and only going down as far as your job actually needs. A big pitfall I see online constantly is people are saying because you can host something locally that you should, which is absolutely not the case. It's an architecture decision. In the same way, no company just always builds everything on premises, right? There's a reason some companies use no cloud, some companies use some cloud, and some companies are cloud native. You have to make a similar architectural decision when you're building apps. I've seen too many people recommend that others build, host, support, secure, and maintain custom apps forever. Even like they'll tell people to do this for clients. So you're building something on your computer or a server in the cloud for a client from scratch when you've never done any of those things or written any code before. It's just a completely silly recommendation. Don't follow this trap. Follow regular architectural patterns. Yes, hosting locally is going to be cheaper and more secure, but trust me, you do not want to be on the hook whenever these things go bump in the night, and it's just pointless to build stuff when it already exists. So anyway, decisions you want to keep for yourself. Some things you want to keep with a human. Basically making any type of decision about your life or your job. It can help you pull facts together, but as far as actually making that decision, you should never delegate it to any chatbot ever. There's this concept called Claude.md inside of Claude Code, like this. Claude.md is just instructions in your Claude Code project. So I'm just saying, here's an example. If you want to get started with that process, you can just paste it into a file in your folder and you'll be good to go. Action items to build something today. Pick the architectural pattern that works and build something. I have started AI Builder Society if you want to join a similar community of like-minded people. You can go to aibuildersociety.com and you can click the join button here if you want. Or you could just download this lead magnet Notion doc thing for free here on benetanasio.gumroad.com. And this one was called How to Build Anything with AI. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Please leave a like if I was able to help you out today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.